Uh-oh. Okay, can you hear me now? I was trying to use my mic. I think it's not working again. Okay, can you hear me now? I'm not going to use the mic. I have a lot of mics. It was working yesterday, but not today. Okay. All right, I'm going to have to charge it again. I just charged it, but I guess I'll charge it again. Oh, that's funny. It's someone's posting with my picture, but it's not me. It said more likes can attract viewers. Keep it up. You can hear me now. Okay, great. Welcome. Yeah, I just decided to go live spontaneously without any warning, so people may not know that I'm here. But I wanted to go live because I just feel like the energy has really shifted in a positive way. And I felt a huge shift yesterday, and I just feel so happy. And I came on the platform and I just found so many videos from other people saying the same thing, saying, you know, that they're noticing a shift, or people are just all talking about good news. Oh yeah, there's a lunar eclipse tonight. Yes, it's a surprise, Courtney. Unscheduled live. Yeah, so I was just feeling like, oh, the energy is so amazing. So I did a post earlier today about, how I see, I just had some soda. Yeah, I did a post and I wanted to come on here and talk about it, the shift, because I had this amazing meditation with my guides yesterday, and they were just talking about how we're winning, you know, that we're winning, that in the energy battle, the battle of light and dark, of good and bad. I know all these terms are imperfect, but that we're winning, that those of us who are seeking to raise the vibration of the planet, that we're winning. And some of you may not want to think about it in terms of a battle, but that's the way it was given to me. It was given to me as a battle that we are winning. And we could use some winning right about now, right? Oh, wow. So let me get my glasses on so I can read these comments. Someone said, Sober Mom 1964 says, my guide spelled out Lotus Queen is the other word with pendulum yesterday morning. I'm not going to say all the words. There's a lot of words I don't say on my lives because my account's been suppressed for so long. But yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, and so Jay Rose also says they see it as a battle. I see it as a battle for, for the good, to raise the vibration. And, so while I'm not usually interested in battles, I'm very, peaceful, anti-war. I can get behind this particular battle because it's a battle for what's right. It's a battle for something that's going to benefit the entire planet. And what better is there to fight for than something that uplifts everybody? I mean, it's even going to uplift the people who are going against it, right? So let me say a little bit more about what I've been getting. So I was shown this battle, and I was shown that we're winning, and they were talking about it in terms of energy, that that there's an energetic shift going on. So I did just post about this, but I'll talk about it because you may not have seen my post yet. But and how one side has been focused on like really low vibration emotions, and the other side has been focused on high vibration emotions. And some of you might be familiar with David Hawkins. I really like his work. He has this book that I really like called Power versus Force. He has a bunch of other books, and I think it's in his more recent book that he Well, no, in all of the books, he has this chart. I know because I teach it. This chart of emotions, and he like correlates emotions with frequencies, and talks about this spectrum, you know, from the lowest vibration emotions to the highest, where the highest is love and the lowest is hate. And what my guides are saying is that we're seeing a shift towards the higher vibration emotions. And so the Red Hat team was really focused on hate, which is the lowest vibration. And now they're kind of shifting from hate to fear, which is actually an increase in vibration. And then on the Blue Hat side, we have a movement from hope to love, which is a higher vibration. Unity and love. And so this is what they explained to me is proof that we are winning the energy battle and that we're moving. We are ascending. We're raising our vibration. It kind of feels like a slow process, but we are raising our vibration. Somebody was asking a question. I'm trying to look at the questions about the blueberry. Why are some blueberries folding? Yeah, so this is another thing that, you know, I've been getting some guidance on, and that is that, you know, we were expecting the blueberries to be our leaders. And we were expecting them to be the ones to get up on the podium and say, there have been irregularities that need to be addressed. Look at the numbers. And it didn't happen. It could have happened. But it didn't happen. And so instead, what's happening is that we, the people, are the ones. We, the people, are the ones who are fighting this battle. And we, the people, are the ones that are making it happen. And so we see a lot of evidence of this. So I want to talk about good news tonight. That's my whole purpose for coming on the Spontaneous Live, is to talk about good news. Hi, artists and oracles. Hey, Katie Cat. And also, people, let me know where you're streaming in from. What town, city, province, county, country. I always like to know where people are from. I don't think I set a live goal, and I gotta check and see if I didn't tell my moderators that I was here because this was unscheduled. So let me kind of quickly go attend to some of that. Where are my settings? Here we go. Ooh, thank you for the cheers. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, I forget where to go with the. I forgot how to set the live goal. Well, do I have one? Maybe I just have one automatically because I don't know how to do that. Okay, but we're talking about good news tonight. We're talking about reasons to be hopeful, and oh, Rockford, Illinois. I know about Rockford. I'm from Chicago. Northern California, Ontario, welcome Canada. We got Florida. I also know Apollo Beach. I like Apollo Beach. Virginia Beach, Maryland. I'm also familiar with them. I went to school in DC. Michigan, my folks are from Michigan. I'm from Illinois. There's another Illinois. Los Angeles, that's where I am now. Washington State Coast. I used to teach in Seattle. Massachusetts. I went to college in Massachusetts. Victoria, BC. I've been to Victoria, BC. Burlington, Vermont. Vermont is beautiful, and Bernie's from there, so awesome. And we got some more Canadians. Yeah. Ontario, Maryland, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Kansas, Kentucky. I love it. Indiana. I have a grandparent from Indiana. Oh, Nina's here. Okay, hold on. I can invite Nina up. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about good news. And so let's talk about some of the good news, some of the signs that we are winning, right? So that's what I've been saying. That's what I was told by my guides, that we are winning this energetic battle, and we are winning this battle for the good. And so we have some some evidence, right? We've seen a lot of consequences, if you will. We've seen a lot of FO happening lately, right? The finding out phase of the FO. Certain people have been finding out, right? Certain people are in the FO. And, my guides were saying from the beginning, certain people have to go through the FAFO before we make the final transition, right? And so it's been frustrating having to so much FAFO for so many people. And why do we all have to deal with the FO when we didn't do the FA? Right? I mean, shouldn't it be that just the ones that effed around are the ones that are finding out, right? But So anyway, somebody big, right? And I have to use new words because, So I used to call him one thing, and I think I'll call him something else. What should I was calling him the Lieutenant Donkey. So Lieutenant Donkey, because now we have 7 donkeys or 7 asses in the House of White. And so the Lieutenant Donkey has been crying this week in the House of White. I just saw a couple reports about it because they're losing a lot of money, and they're losing it in lots of different ways. It's not just one thing. It's like a whole bunch of different ways. Okay, I invited Nina up. Hi, Nina.
Keep on talking about your donkeys.
Yeah, so I'm just giving good news and giving good news about the Lieutenant Donkey, who's been crying in the House of White. And he's been crying because he's one of those really big merchants, right? Who usually makes a lot of money as a merchant, but he's losing a lot of money, and he's losing it in a lot of different ways. And so he has multiple problems going on with multiple businesses. So he has one business that is leaching so much money that his stock prices are going way down. And then he has another business that is under cyber attack. And then he has another business that's been under cyber attack. And then there are also a lot of people who are actually in the other realms in Europe who are actually setting fires to stations of charge that are associated with the Lieutenant Donkey. And so there's been massive losses in multiple aspects of his merchant life, causing him to boo-hoo. And then causing the head donkey to do an infomercial about ugly cars, right? That's just one bit of, we're talking about good news tonight, and so that's one bit of evidence that the light is winning. And because that's the people, that's the power of the people, and that's the people in our realm and people in other realms all working in a coordinated way to bring about these changes. Another piece of evidence, it has to do with those other merchants. There were 5 merchants who were standing behind the head donkey at the big ceremony on the 20th, and they've collectively lost, I forget the number, but over $200 billion. So they're also leaching money. And then we also have today, there is an event, I have to be very careful how I talk about this. There is an event of dancing and singing. For those who follow me, you know what dancing and singing means. There are people dancing and singing, and these are people who wear the Star of David, who are dancing and singing in the lobby of a tall building in New York City that has a name that starts with a capital T. And they are dancing and singing on behalf of a dancer who was dancing and singing for the people. Oh, now I forgot my code word for the people over there.
Oh.
You have a code word?
I
had one. I forgot it.
I can't
Been so
remember
long.
yours.
Yeah,
Anyway,
what was mine? The land of so
Olive.
the land of the great Exodus,
Okay, that'll
the
work.
great forced Exodus, right?
Hmm.
He was dancing and singing on their behalf, and
Oh,
then the head donkey decided to put him behind bars because he didn't like what he was singing. And so now all of the people who wear the Star of David have decided to dance and sing in the tower that belongs to the head donkey in the city of New York. So this
mhm.
is also very good news. And so let's hear from other people. And Nina, let's hear from you first. Um,
Sure.
so I was before you got here, I was talking about how I felt the energy shift yesterday,
Oof.
and
Yeah.
how my guides have given me all this good information that said we were winning, that the light is winning,
Hmm.
and that we were just talking about some evidence of that. And so, yeah, anything you want to share?
Sure. Yeah, and there's more win. I mean, there's so many more parties going on too, which is just so exciting. Like there's more and more of them all the time. And this weekend has a ton of parties planned, and it's all very exciting to see how that all works out. It's interesting because I don't know if you remember or if you knew, like I had a dream where I was in a party and I couldn't even see the buildings because there were so many people. And then Linda G, the Comanche psychic, had a similar dream, but she was inside one of the buildings, and I was outside one of the buildings. We were seeing similar stuff, so it was very interesting. And that was all about this
I love
weekend.
Linda G.
Yeah, she's so fun. Oh my gosh, I just love how she'll like do a reading and then talk about how she's going to a crab bake and then come back to her reading, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like hanging
she's
out with your
hilarious.
auntie. It's great. Happen to
It
be
is.
throwing cards, but so oh my gosh, I love her. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, the energy shift has been huge, and it's what's great is I made a post today that's just going crazy because I was working with a client earlier, and it just hit me that we keep feeling like almost there, almost there, almost there. It's like during a birth, which is lunar eclipse is very similar to a birth, right? A birth canal, especially with the blood moon. And we keep feeling like we're just at the edge and we're just like pushing, but
Right?
we're not quite there yet. And it occurred to me, it came to me, my guides told me, nothing occurs to us, right? That it's not us. Sorry, we're not that smart. But that we're not we're not putting our energy into what happens after. And when we're manifesting stuff, we can get very caught up in I can't wait until I have this thing, or, that feeling of pushing toward your goal, instead of just imagining and using the power of our imagination to raise that vibration and to create, because things are created in energy before they become physical. And so I did a post about, okay, everybody, how does it feel? It's over. What are you doing right now? What are you doing right now that it's over? And what it has turned into is comments after comments. I think there's almost like 600 comments or something like that, with all of these people feeling as if it is already done. And me in my, throwing in my witch magic stuff at the end of every comment saying, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. I've been saying it all day, 600 times so far, and so it is. Like to the TikToks, like, you can't say that comment again. You have to say something different. Oh, okay. But it's like
You're
we've actually
spamming, so it is.
with my own post. But anyway, they're so funny. Though it's amazing because we're doing, it's like it's turned into a big spell, where we're all manifesting this thing by talking about, and the comments are so beautiful. I'm popping champagne. I'm hugging my cats. I'm hugging my partner. I'm running out in the streets. I'm calling everybody I know. My phone's going crazy. And they're all feeling as if it already happened. And that's the energy. So it was this, spirit feeling as if it already happened. And that's the energy. So it was this, spirit was really, of course, that's what this time is about, because the less power they have, the louder they're going to get, and the more they're going to scratch and try to hold on, right? And so if we're holding that vision of what's on the other side of this, then we're bringing it in, because I mean, you know how this works, but I'll just say it for everybody. So it's the law of assumption is first. It's not just the law of attraction, because everybody talks about law of attraction. It's the law of assumption. So you feel as if you already have the thing, you already are the thing, or whatever, and you're living your life as if that thing is true. Like, for example, like sometimes when I'm a little low in the bank account, I'll go, oh, they just couldn't fit all the zeros on there because the app screen's too small. Just playing around with that feeling of having the abundance already. And so you're living in this law of assumption, which makes you vibrate at that frequency. And then the law of attraction gets activated, and the component parts to make that thing real, in the 3D is attracted to you. It's magnetized to you. It can't help itself. And so what we're doing on that post is just big old law of assumption and vibrating really high, and it's been wonderful. So yeah, I felt the shift, and I felt like, okay, we need to harness it. We need to use it, you know. And with the eclipse, it's a portal. We're leaving things behind. We're, taking inventory is a great idea of things that have been holding you back or not working for you. And then, but really putting the energy into who are you creating yourself to be on the other side of it that attracts the things that you want to bring in, So yeah, so it's a perfect time to be doing that. And I'm actually going to be doing a little bit more because it's overnight. It's actually really where I am in Montana. It's like from 10 something at night, and then it's like 6 hours. It's like a super long thing, like the whole process of it. And so overnight, I'm going to have candles lit and be doing some work that way while I'm sleeping. But it's just a really powerful portal, and the energy is just off the charts. Is everybody in the comments feeling like that super high energy too?
Yeah, people are talking about some other things that are happening in the news. I was also just
Well,
inviting
Mercury retrograde too. Sorry. Yeah.
I was just inviting some other people, but people are talking about some of the astrological stuff, the Mercury
Sure.
retrograde.
Sally, I can answer that
the,
question of what to
the
do tonight. Is that
eclipse.
okay? Yeah. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure you have something too, but so I posted this on my Patreon. It's free, by the way, if anybody wants to grab it. Except my, you can't say it. Link in my bio, so you can see it there if you go to the Patreon. But one of the things, so what I'm suggesting people do is create a ritual space, and it could be really simple. Just light a candle, grab a journal and a pen, and sit with yourself and settle in with some breath, and just write out things that are not really working for you, like things that the patterns you're in. This can be in your relationships, work, just any aspect of your life, internal, how you talk to yourself, things like that. Just stuff that isn't really working. And then ask, is this a negotiation thing? Is this something to have further discussion on, or just something to drop and leave behind? And then when you're done with that and taking that inventory about what you're keeping and what you're negotiating or what you're dropping, then you're dreaming. Then you're going to dream and feel into, once that's all done, once everything's cleared out and you've decluttered in a way, your life, your relationships, your work, whatever it is, what does that feel like? And what are you doing now? And what do you feel like now? And you vision into that, and you imagine as if you are already experiencing your life in a way that is clear from the things that have been holding you back. Who are you? Who do you need to become to attract these things to you? Right? And then when you're done with that, write out a little to-do list, just inspired actions. It doesn't have to be a big crazy thing, but ideas might come in, when you're open to that and allowing ideas to come in that suit that vibration that you've created with that imaginative exercise. Oh, and moon water. Put out a jar of moon water. I don't normally do that during an eclipse, but this one is really powerful for that. So moon water, you just take a jar, clean jar, put some clean water in it, set it out for the eclipse energy to absorb into it, and to wrap up this little, journaling ritual in the morning, drink it and say it is done. So there you go.
Okay, so Iris is asking who else I want up. I just sent out invites to Sean and Femme Fatale and Gia and Rianne Dupree.
Ooh.
Um, and so, and also if there's other dreaming women who are in the live who want to come up, you know, send a request, and I'll, if I recognize you, I'll invite you up. You know, I don't know a lot of people, but I do know a lot of people, but I don't know
Right.
everybody.
I'm
Um,
answering some questions, just typing here. Go ahead.
so I've reached out to a lot of people. Um, so yeah, so I came on here to talk about the shift in energy and to talk about the good news. And so please put in the comments any other good news you all are seeing. Um, we have to focus on the good news when we can. And you know, there's a lot of times when we feel like we have to focus on the bad news, but we have to sometimes take some time out to just focus on the good news so that we can boost ourselves up and you know, inspire ourselves to soldier on. And so, oh yeah, so the judge, that's another good bit of good news. So a judge just overturned the firing of those 20,000 workers who work for the highest level of the government. And so they're all being allowed to return to work. And so that's another bit of good news. Um, how do we join the Dreaming Women? You know, the Dreaming, let's talk about that. The Dreaming Women was a term that I coined a few months ago. And before I coined the term Dreaming Women, there was already the term out there 4 a.m. club, 3 a.m. club. And that was all of the women, some people who weren't women, but predominantly women, who were waking up after the big joust at 3 and 4 in the morning, having dreams and knowing for a fact that things had been finagled. And people were having all kinds of dreams and visions, and people were calling. So Gia Prism coined the term 4 a.m. club, and she started to post every day and started to really create community around that term. Now, my guides, you know, I started posting on November, I think it was 7th, and started posting every day and doing lives, and my guides wanted me to start using the word dreaming woman, which is kind of something I'm more familiar with from my background. And maybe yours too, Nina. Are you Latina?
No, actually, I'm not. I know people can never figure out what I am.
Oh,
Um,
because like
I'm half Russian, and then I'm half Italian, Irish, and Mongolian.
oh, okay. Because there's this tradition in lots of cultures of
Hmm.
dreaming women, right? Women who are prophets, women
Yeah.
who dream and the dreams come true, and it's very much a tradition. And so my guides told me to start calling us the dreaming women. And the term dreaming women includes all genders. It's not just female bodied people. But I was told to use that term because we're in the middle of the rise of the divine feminine and we're actively fighting the patriarchy. And so there are male bodied dreaming women like SeanAdams, who I've had in some of my lives. There are people like Omar, who's
Hmm.
queer. There are people like Femme Fatale Fairy. I'm not saying their name right. Who's more non-binary. I'm a two spirit. So the term doesn't limit you to having a certain kind of body, but it's a term that recognizes um, what's happening right now on the planet with all of these people, many of whom are feminine gendered, who are tapping in, tuning in, and getting information. And so it's not really something you need to join. You just are one. If you're dreaming, if you're someone who's been waking up or who's been getting insights about what's going on, and you want to claim that name, then you're a dreaming woman. No one has to choose you. You don't have to join a club. Um, so there's just a lot of us all over, and I was told by my guides to start bringing us together. And so what I did was I started reaching out on this app, you know, in the DMs to all of the other dreaming women that I was seeing who were posting a lot and who were posting things that resonated with what I was posting. So that's who I was reaching out to, is people who were basically tuning into the same sources as I was. And I started reaching out to a lot of people behind the scenes. And I said, hey, let some of us get together. And some of us got together in a Zoom, but it was just too big and unwieldy. And it was too many people with different, really different perspectives and different levels of understanding. And so what my guides told me next was everyone, they had been saying all along, get in community, get in community. And I've been telling people in my post, get in community. And then they were really specific. They said, get into a community of 4 and 4 or more. And so then I decided, let me just listen to my guides. Why am I trying to organize the world? Let me just get together with a few other people. And so then I got into a very small group of 5. It was 4 actually, and then somebody invited somebody else, ended up being 5. And then we decided to coordinate some messages, to start posting on the same topic at the same time, just to increase the spread of the message. And another thing that my guides had said was that we needed to be in councils or circles, because the old way of organizing is triangular, hierarchical, right? With people on top and people on the bottom who are being ruled over. And what they said, and I posted about this, is that we're moving away from this hierarchical, patriarchal structure to this cooperative, more matriarchal structure, which is a circle or a council where everybody sitting on the council or in the circle has the same status. There's no elevation of one person above other people. And so that first group that I was in, we decided to call ourselves a Dreaming Woman Council, because that was what my guides said we were supposed to call ourselves. Now, since that time, there were some people who were like, oh, well, I wanted to be in that council. But really, that was just a little personal gathering of people. And so what people are supposed to do is we're all supposed to get in to our own circles and our own councils. I'm in more than one. So we all need to get into these circles or these councils. And so you just go and create your own circle, your own council, and decide how are you going to work together. That particular group that I was in, we decided to message together. Now I'm in a different group and we're doing other work. I'm also in some in-person groups of women that I've formed. So they're also circles or councils. So I really encourage everybody to form your own little council or circle of 4, or maybe it could be more, but 4 is a really nice, solid number. And so, yeah, if you want, I think that was Iris, and that was one of my mods. If you want to be a Dreaming Woman, then you are a Dreaming Woman. If you want to be on the Dreaming Woman Council, then you just form a Dreaming Women Council, and there you go.
Yeah.
There's no hierarchies in this. Dreaming Women, there's no hierarchies. Nobody's, above anybody. Oh, look, so Ange said she started a group of intuitive women. And there are some people on here who have started really big groups also.
Yeah.
I just saw someone the other day. Who was it? And they have this whole, who is that person that has that whole, it's like a giant coven. So a coven.
Oh, Riot Adams. Riot Adams. Riot. Yeah, Riot Adams. I think there might be 2 T's, Riot Adams.
Okay.
But yes, it's the largest online coven in the world.
Yeah. So everyone form your group, form your coven, form your circle. Don't wait for someone to invite you to something. Just start inviting people. Oh yeah, there it is. Primordial Sea. It's called Primordial Sea. It's this giant coven.
Oh, that's a different thing, maybe. I don't know. Is that right? Is that Riot Adams? Who said that?
Lynette said it. That's the one I was talking about. Primordial Sea. It's this huge. I
wonder if it's the same.
Oh, and then Sally the girl said they're in it too.
Okay.
So is Goddess Melissa. They're in. I too. Oh no, they're talking about a red.
Oh, they're 2 different. They said okay. Okay. So there's 2 different ones. All right.
There's a lot of them out there. So
yeah, what's really exciting is people are just naturally doing that. Like they're just creating these circles and finding people who have similar, downloads or visions or things or whatever interests, and skills even and things like that. And it's sort of happening really naturally, which is just beautiful. It's so important.
Yeah, and you see how somebody, I can't see their name, CY said anyone in Utah. So yes, use our videos, use our lives to find each other. I've told
Yeah.
people this in the past. You know, you can use the comment section also in in YouTube where there's more
Yeah.
space. In the
Yeah.
two of you, you can go over
Mhm.
there and have long conversations in the comments. And
Yeah.
people are
Oh, it's
doing
nicer
that.
there.
People are
How do
doing
you
that
find
over
local
there.
people? Maggie says, how do we find local people? Like we've been saying, go to your library, go to art events, find where the artists and the performers and the weirdos are.
Join a meetup. Yeah,
Yep.
join any kind of women's group.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming you're a woman, if you're not, then different group. um, and yeah, and just start one. So what I did was I just started one. I just said, hey, I'm gonna start having women over on my porch on Friday afternoons. And then I just started inviting people in my neighborhood. I started inviting people that I've been doing organizing with. Um, and I went onto Instagram and I found a feminist group doing some stuff, and I went to their events. I found another organization in my neighborhood that was doing some interesting events, so I went over there and met some people. Um, uh,
Oh, good. People are putting where they're from to see if there's anybody there
yeah,
who.
so yeah, you can connect with people in the comments too. Um,
Great.
you could form your own. You could just go on to Meetup and create a meetup and say, I'm forming a Dreaming Women meetup, and see who shows up.
Great. Yeah, that's true in the neighborhood thing. I mean, but that's the thing that I'm finding is really interesting too is, you'd be surprised, I think, who's in your neighborhood. There might be people who you assume are one thing, but then when you actually like, have a very loose, delicate conversation with them, you might find out that they're actually a lot more like you than you think. That was definitely true working here on some campaigns for, I worked for the Blue Team on campaign commercials and things like that. And it was really interesting to meet people who visually and the lifestyle, big truck, hat, the whole thing, whatever. And I talked to them and it turns out they were completely on the same page as me. So, you know,
Yeah, and
just explore.
I've lived in some red areas, and
Yeah.
so and as a brown skinned person, I've lived in some all white areas that were very conservative, and so I know it's possible, no matter where you are, to
Yeah.
find community. It is, of course, more challenging. I'm going to give you some more ideas. Um, like when I was in Florida, I belonged to the spiritualist community, and they were very progressive compared to other people in that area. Um, so spiritualists believe in, communicating with spirit. They're basically all mediums. They don't have a dogma. They don't have like a leader. They don't have like a minister. It's not hierarchical. Um, and I met a lot of people in that community who were progressive, more progressive than the other people that lived in that area. And there are other churches like this. You don't have to be religious. You can just use it as a place to meet people, to have community. So I heard right now that the Methodist Church is coming out really strongly against the head donkey. And
Mhm.
so that might be a place, if you have a Methodist church in your town, that might be a place to meet like minded people. Um, I think is it the Methodists or the Presbyterians? Oh, maybe someone correct me. Is it the Methodists or the Presbyterians?
Methodists tend to be pretty liberal. Also,
Methodists tend to be, and now I can't remember if it's the Methodists or the Pres. Anyway, look it up, Google it.
Lutheran too. Lutheran can sometimes be, I don't know,
But
you know.
also, there are other churches like Unitarian Universalists, very
Right.
progressive, non denominational church. Look and see if there's one of those near you.
Also,
Um,
really like progressive synagogues too. There's a
yeah, there
lot.
are progressive synagogues.
Yeah,
There
very
are
active. Hmm.
Hindu temples. You might find a Hindu temple um, that has not, they're not all going to be progressive, but in this climate, it might tend to be more progressive than other places of worship.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, the library,
Yeah,
art clubs, knitting clubs,
yeah,
things like that, crafts. Also, yeah, anyone. And here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. I'm gonna give you a little lecture. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I hate churches and oh, I don't want to be around organized religion. I get that because organized religion has done a lot of harm to a lot of people. But we do have to adjust and adapt to the current moment, right? Where we are now is not where we were in October. In October, you could be like, oh, I don't like going to churches. Now we're in a different historical moment where the priority is unity. And when the priority is unity, that means we've got to cross some borders that we didn't used to cross. And we have to get together with people that maybe in the past we thought, those aren't my people. Well, now they are your people because now the definition of who your people are has changed, right? Who your
Right.
people are the people who don't support the head donkey. That's who your people are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody
Absolutely.
who doesn't support the head donkey is now your people. And so we're going to have to get past these old attitudes we had where it was like, well, I don't want to go hang out with religious people, or I don't want to hang out with, no, those are your people now.
That's right. Isn't that beautiful though too? Like somebody said that this is the most unified our like that people of this land have been across cultural, socioeconomic, like all of these things. We're all like connecting with each other in this unified front against that thing, right? And so people who would never speak to each other are speaking to each other now. And that's so Aquarius, from the age of Aquarius. Like just come, all the people just coming together and realizing that they've been fed this definition, like, oh, we don't talk to them, or they're like this, or whatever. And it's all been this illusion of that's been making us feel like we're alone and isolated and independent. We're not independent. We've never been independent. Humans aren't independent. We're interdependent, right? So we're all waking up to that, right? And we really are crossing those, illusion, pretend boundaries that they've put in place so that we don't connect with each other. It's kind of like the biggest Abelian ray. I'm just going to do pig Latin. Abelian ray that there's ever been, because I mean, when you think about the history of in this country of people fighting against each other because of how they look, it was actually because they people of different colors were all on the lowest Avesley, level. And then they realized that they could rise up if they joined together against the people who owned them. And so they started, spreading rumors and things like that about the one group of people, and it's stuck ever since. And that method has worked so well for so long, but we are no longer, the wool's off of our eyes. Like we know what they've been doing. And so that's just such a beautiful thing that we're all seeing our commonality and the power that we have when we actually do cross over those imaginary boundaries and work together.
Yes. Okay. I just remembered. So two things. Someone just mentioned that Sky Girl is forming a group called Sky Cafe. So if you follow her, and then I just remembered I do have a Mighty group. I always forget to tell people. I have a Mighty group, which is free. And so I just I don't know how to send the link, but I sent it to Iris. And if you could post it in the chat for me. Am I able to post in the chat? I can't figure out how to post in the chat.
I can. It's you want me to just tell me the name? It's Mighty Network Metatron something?
Yeah, so it's Mighty Network, and what's my Mighty? It's called Metatron.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna. So Iris said it's not letting her put the link in.
People can look it up though if they know how to get on Mighty
Hold
Network.
on, let me see. What's it called? So I created a Dreaming Woman circle inside my Mighty, and my Mighty is called Metatron Supersensory Society.
Oh, geez, that's a lot of typing. Hang on.
Metatron Supersensory Society. And someone said write it on paper. Okay, I will do that.
Oh yeah.
But you want me to write the whole link? Or just the name? I'll write the name. But I think, are you writing it, Nina?
I did. I typed it. So first go to Mighty Network, then look up the Metatron Supersensory Society, and then within that, do look for the Dreaming Woman Circle. Mighty Network, it's called, Claire. It's
It's an
like a
app.
social. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
social app.
It's like a social app called the Mighty Network. And then it's going to be backwards though.
I
Um,
know. Somebody wrote on plexiglass. I thought that was so smart.
the Metatron Super Sensory Society. Probably can't read my handwriting anyway. Dreaming Women.
Yeah.
Um, but I should put the link in my bio too. I don't think I have it in there. Um, it's an app that I usually use for my classes. So it's like for my students who are studying medical intuition, they go in there and practice together. But I formed a Dreaming Women Circle a couple months ago, and I just keep forgetting to tell people about it. So you can organize there as well. It is free. I don't charge. You can charge, but I don't charge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so someone's asking me to summarize what my guides have been saying recently. So I'll do that since I did say it maybe when I started, which is probably like half an hour ago now. um, oh, okay. Evie, one of my moderators, said I can add it to my Tube of You when I post the replay. Yeah, so I'm going to post this as a
Oh,
replay at my Tube of You. And my Tube of You is Jennifer Lisa Vest. That's my full name, Jennifer Lisa Vest. So you can always go there, and I'll put the link over there.
okay. Hey, I'm going to hop off. It was really nice joining you. I am going to listen while I do other things to what your guides have been saying
Yeah,
and
thank
any
you for
stories.
joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, great. It was good to have Nina. Please go follow her if you don't already, ninawitchyhealer. And there might be other guests if I got to pay attention. There might be some other guests. Are we going to do a meditation? We are. We're going to do a meditation because I haven't done one in a while and I've been wanting to do one. So thanks for the reminder. Maybe we'll do a meditation now. Um, and then after the meditation, I will repeat again what I said earlier about what my guides have been sharing. Tonight we're just down here talking about good news, and my guides are just seeing good things, and I'm seeing a lot of good things also out in the world. Lots of evidence that the light is winning, the good is winning, and that's why I came on here to just make people aware of that if you're not already, and to give other people a chance to share good news that they have seen. And so please share in the comments any good news that you want other people to be aware of. Yeah, so Evie said, I'm sure people are busy with rituals. It's because we have the lunar eclipse tonight. And so, this is an important night to do rituals. And, Nina was giving some great advice about what to do for the lunar eclipse, working with moon water. Moon water is where you put water out. We often do this under a new moon, or you could do it. Can you do it in a full moon? I forget. I don't really work with moon water myself, but you put water out under the moon, and then you use that water in rituals or spells. Some people use that water for things. What I like to work with the moon, I like to work with the moon to do releasing and also manifesting. And yeah, it's new moon, right? Yeah, echo fusion. Thanks for correcting me. New moon for the moon water, and then on the you can also use the moons for releasing and manifesting, and also if you have crystals and you want to cleanse or kind of upgrade the energy of your crystal, you can put it out under the moon. And you can do that with anything. Like it's like saging. Like if you want to sage something, you can also just put it under the moon, and that's another way to work with it. It's a full moon tonight. Evie's reminding us it's also a lunar eclipse. And this month also just has so much going on astrologically and astronomically. So we're going to do a meditation. Does it have to be outside? It does. Basically, you want the moonlight to hit it. So yeah, a lot of spiritualists are saying not to make water or charged crystals in the eclipse moon. I would agree with them. I am also a spiritualist. So, don't engage in any rituals that you don't personally know how to do. So that's the thing about some of these platforms. People kind of say things and then you may not understand the ritual and then you try to do it and you don't really know what you're doing. Nina said windowsill works. Yeah, listen to Nina. So windowsill, as long as the moonlight is hitting it. So thanks for explaining that, because I thought they were asking if you could just be inside on the night of a full moon or the night of yeah. Yeah, you want some way for the moonlight to hit it. All right. And so Nina said, I wouldn't do crystals tonight. So she said, don't do crystals. You wouldn't do crystals. I'm assuming you mean tonight. Okay. So yeah, I wasn't talking about tonight, but I was talking about the practices I engage in. I'm not doing anything like that tonight. But yes, Native American, here we go. This is what I agree with. Do Native Americans stay inside during lunar eclipses? Yes, this is my belief. I will not be outside doing anything on the lunar eclipse. You have to honor whatever your tradition is. So whatever your tradition is, that's what you're going to do. And that was one of the things that my guides was talking about. I'm going to post about it later, about how we all have different paths that we're on when it comes to working with energy and working with spirit. And they're all equally valid, right? And so everybody has their own tradition. And as long as you step firmly onto that path with full faith and authenticity and the best of intentions, that's what is going to matter, right? And so Nina, she's still chiming in here for us, saying, don't, not for this one. And so I don't know, I think that refers to the crystals, or I'm not sure. And so, yeah. So, that's something that's more her tradition than mine, right? What she was talking about in the live, that's her tradition that she knows very well, and she's sharing it with you. And so I'm not going to be able to comment on that because we have different traditions. But I've only worked with the moon around full moons and new moons, and also with crystals. That's the only way in which I've worked. Well, the only way that I'm going to discuss publicly. But there's a lot of traditions around the moon. Oh, that was a funny sound. There's a lot of traditions. And so that's why it's so great that there's so many of us on this platform, right? There's so many dreaming women. We're all coming from different traditions. We all have different training. And you can learn from all of us, and you can teach all of us if you're also a dreaming person. And so we all get to learn from each other. And I really appreciate that. So I'm going to do a meditation, and also go follow ninawitchyhealer if you want to know more about the moon, because she's going to be talking more about the moon than I am. And who are some other creators who are talking about the moon right now? I'm trying to remember. I think Femme Fatale might be talking about the moon, because I think they're also an astrologer. But let's meditate. I do like to participate in moon circles, and I do participate in moon circles with other women. I do recommend that. Getting together with other witchy women around different cycles of the moon is very powerful. All right, let's do a short meditation, just to raise the vibration and to bring our lights together in a unified way. And I think it will be powerful because of what's going on with the full moon. So if you can, just take a moment to stretch and yawn. You might want to wiggle around, get all the wiggles out. And if you want, you can close your eyes and begin to take some nice deep breaths. Breathing slowly and deeply. Breathing out slowly as well. Just give yourself time, maybe counting to 3, to inhale, hold it, and then exhale. And just focus on your breath for a moment. And just notice how it feels. And imagine, if you will, that each time you are inhaling, you are relaxing, and you are inhaling relaxing blue light. And with each exhale, you are releasing gray smoke. So that with each breath, you become more relaxed and more free. Now place your attention on the crown of your head, on the top of your head, and notice there is a wonderful tingling sensation on the top of your head. It's as if there is a circle of bright white light, and it begins to grow up, up, up into a cylinder of bright white light. And it moves up, 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 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet into the air, this giant crown of bright white light. And you can feel it tingling and vibrating. And you notice above you a giant golden sun. And you recognize this golden sun, for this is your higher self, your source, where you come from and where you return, a source of infinite energy. And you reach your cylinder of bright white light, up, 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 connecting it to the giant golden sun, plugging your little self into your higher self. You begin to charge, charge up. All of that divine source light begins to flow down into the crown of your head, filling you up with love, expansion, and power. And as the light moves down through all your chakras and around you, in a giant globe of light, you feel yourself protected. In your giant bubble of bright white light, you begin to expand. You are brilliant and bright, bold, you are powerful. And you just marinate in that energy of expansiveness. In this expanded state, you are ready to visualize the entire planet You begin to float up into the air in your giant bubble. And as you look down, you see your room where you were, you see your house, your apartment, and you float up higher and you see your neighborhood. And you continue to float up and you see your village or town, your city. And it's just lights now, trees and buildings as you continue to float up. And as you float up, you're in the clouds. And the higher you go, the blurrier things are, and you're just beginning to see colors now. And you float up so high that you can see the whole planet, all of Mother Earth beneath you, the greens and the blues, the swirling oceans and the large continents. And from this position, from this perspective, you can begin to see the lights that the people are emitting. Each person on the planet is a dot of light. There are congregations of light in some places. In bigger cities, there are brighter lights, and in smaller towns, there are smaller lights. But all over the planet, there are lights like dots of light. And these are all the souls on planet Earth, each emitting their own little light. And as you look more closely, you see that there are some lights that are especially bright. For these are the light workers, these are the healers, the leaders, these are the empaths, the witches, the magicians, the shamans, the medicine people. And these are the people, the dreamers, who incarnated at this time in order to shine an especially bright light to help others to see the path. You might be one of these bright lights, one of these way showers, these dreamers. Perhaps you are a starseed. As you begin to look at all of these lights, you start to see a pattern of bright lights. You start to notice that the brightest lights are in formation. And when you just adjust your vision, you notice there is a pattern, a network of bright lights on the planet. They seem to be in formation like a net. Bright lights in circles, and those bright lights connected through spokes of lights to bigger circles, so that the whole planet is covered in circles of light, small circles inside bigger circles, inside bigger circles, in a huge network of lights. Take a moment to notice the pattern of lights, to notice your light and where it fits in the pattern. You can see and feel your role in the pattern. As you tune into this network of light, you begin to notice that the lights are moving, that each one of us is sending light out to the network of light that encircles the planet. And you set the intention in this moment right now to add your light to the network of lights, to shine your light and to send it out to all the others who are also all sending their light. And together we are all combining our powerful lights. We are lighting up the whole planet like a Christmas tree. We are all connecting our lights, lighting up the entire planet like a Christmas tree. And as you send the light out, you also receive the light. And as we all send and receive the light, we all feel our vibration increasing. We all feel ourselves being flooded with light and love. We are together. We are united. We are one. Notice, if you will, how it feels to unite our lights. Feel the joy, the love, the sisterhood, the brotherhood, the siblinghood, the humanity of us all. We are powerful together. Together we are shifting the planet. Together we are raising the vibration. Together we are multiplying the love. Just feel how that feels. As we marinate in this love and this power of unity and this ascension of light and this unification, we remember who we really are and why we came. We remember we chose this time to be here because we have gifts to give and we have a light to shine that benefits everyone. And we feel happy in that knowledge, confident, reassured. And we know that at any time we can remind ourselves of our connection to the light grid. And we can plug in, receive, and send light whenever we choose. Now that we have plugged in and lit up, expanded ourselves, immersed ourselves in the love, we are ready to return our attention back to the here and now. And when you're ready, you can begin to float back down from the cosmos, floating towards the earth, floating towards the clouds. You can see the countries taking shape, floating down above your country, floating down above your state or province. And you float down to your town, village, city. Finally, you see your own dwelling, your own house or apartment, and you float down back into your room, back into your chair. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, bringing all of that wonderful love and unity back with you. And if you'd like, you can put some comments in the chat about what you experienced or saw, or anything you want to share that you think others might benefit from. So some people are saying it was peaceful, beautiful. Oh, someone saw spider webs of golden light covering the earth. Divine love. Beautiful, lovely, relaxing. Good. So for people just tuning in, we just did a meditation of world unity, connecting all the lights on the planet. Jeep man said they fell asleep. Well, maybe you needed to sleep, so I'm glad I helped you get a little nap in. Sober Mom says my meditations have been so healing. Thank you for that feedback. Huge grid of lights. Yeah, this is something that I've been working with for much of my life, the light grid, and I was told by my guides to start helping people to connect with it more. I did invite katethesarge up. I don't know if they got the invite, but I sent the invite. And I invited someone else who I think I know, Dr. Rita. I'm not sure if I know them, but I feel like the name sounds familiar. So calming and relaxing. Evie said they missed the meditations. Yeah, I'm going to start doing more again. I was doing them every day for a while. And Sky Girl is going live. I invited Sky Girl here. So I was hoping they would come to my live. I do go to a lot of their lives. They do a lot of lives, which is great. Someone just said, oh, they've been connecting to the light grid for quite a while. That's good. That was
Hi, Jennifer, Lisa.
Hey, Kate.
I can only jump on for a few minutes because it's bedtime over here, but not for me.
Okay, well
I wish for me.
let's hear from you. I'll just set you up a little bit. I came on
Yeah.
tonight with no warning, just because the energy has been so awesome since yesterday, and I just wanted to come on here and share what my guides are saying about how we're winning the battle and the light is getting stronger,
Yep.
and also just talk about good. I was talking about good news. that we're seeing and evidence that things are shifting.
Yep.
And so, yeah, anything you want to share about
Oh.
anything related to good
Yes,
news?
if you guys haven't seen it, I posted early this morning. I did a tarot card pull about the week, and victory is coming. That was the message. You know, there's going to be a lot of emotional upheaval in the next couple of days, a lot of truths revealed, a lot of wounds that need to be uncovered and healed, both individually and collectively. Sorry, I'm in the middle of talking. I'm going to look at the moon. Okay. My daughter's like, the moon is so bright right now. So everyone go look at the moon. I will look at it in a minute. Okay, baby. And then the last card I pulled was a card of victory. So the next few days, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but there is a beautiful cascade of golden light at the end of it. Sorry, I'm in the middle of talking. Oh my gosh, gonna call me in a minute. That's fine. See, it's parenting hour. This is why I was not going to jump on the live, because I knew I was not going to be able to be uninterrupted. Love parenting. Love my child. Yeah. So guys, be hopeful, you know, and by the way, look, there's things happening right now. There's chaos brewing. Don't let it affect you. Observe, don't absorb. You know, it's going to go the way that it has to go for people to wake up, for people to see the system for what it is, for people to understand that it is us. We are the heroes we have been waiting for. It is us. No one else is coming. We are the ones, and we are going to do it, and we are going to do it together. And I love all of you, and I'm sending you so much love and light. This eclipse is going to be very powerful tonight. I know I jumped on when Jennifer Lisa was talking about ways to, you know, harness the power of the eclipse. Do whatever feels right for you. There's lots of schools of thought about this, but I actually like harnessing the power of eclipses. I'm one of the weird ones. I like the chaos of it, to be totally honest with you, but that's just me. That's my inner goddess loving the chaos. But really understand what you're doing. I will say that. Do not jump into using an eclipse if you do not know what you're doing, because that is not safe. So if you haven't done anything with an eclipse before, sit this one out. It is incredibly powerful tonight. It is literally about truth. It's about revealing the truth. So if you're not ready for what that means, I would say just let us do what we do on my side of things, and the truth will be revealed on the other side.
Yep. Good advice. Thanks for joining, Kate.
Yeah. Hi, Renee. Hi. We haven't actually been in a live together, but we've been commenting on posts. So it's nice to finally meet you.
Me and all my messed up glory. I just got
oh my gosh
school function.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm purposefully in bad lighting for a reason.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, I need some bad lighting.
I like your setup. I love the picture behind you. Like, I always think, I'm like, I need to make like a little stage for myself, because I broke my tripod the other day, so I got to figure something out. So
yeah. So Rianne, I don't know if you've been listeing, but
I just got here. Like, I barely hit your meditation, and then I just got here.
Okay. So I came on here to this unscheduled live to talk about good news that's happening and evidence that we're seeing that the battle between the good and bad is heading towards the good. We've got more points. And and
We do.
so what my guide said, I'll just give a really short recap, was that we are seeing a shift in energy going towards the good, because on the one side we had a group of people whose focus was hate, and on the other side we had a group of people whose focus was hope. And over time what we've seen is a lot of the people who were focused on hate have not gotten the rewards they thought that would bring them, and so they're moving out of that emotion and they're moving more into fear. And although fear is also a low vibration emotion, it's better than hate. And so it is a progression. And on the other side, we have people who are very much in hope. And a lot of the people in hope are moving towards unity and love. And so that's also a progression. And so what they said is that overall, we are moving in the direction of the light and of the good and of the higher vibration emotions. And that we should be encouraged because that is the direction that we are moving in. So that's what I got. And I was wondering, Rianne, what are you getting?
Well, so at the very beginning of this week, I could sense the energy that was coming that towards the end of this week. So the two things that I saw very clearly at the beginning of this week was that one, there was something that was going to start on Tuesday that was going to make a lot of people angry and upset. And that on Thursday into Friday, actually, I thought it was going to be more tomorrow and Saturday, but it kind of started today. The energy started today that something really good is coming, something very positive. It was making me giddy. It was almost like I was looking forward to like a vacation or something. Like my heart would race, like I was excited.
Yeah,
and so
same.
I made a video about that. I was like, I'm literally excited. Like, I want to know what this good thing is. And then this morning I woke up. And it felt like there was like this vibrating blanket all on the back of my neck and on my arms. It was, I want to say it was like the universe was hugging me. And so I made another video about that. I was like, can you feel this? Like, can you feel this? And the funny thing is on Tuesday, that's when a lot of this stuff that was starting to irritate and upset the other side's base, that's when that seemed to start to bubble up. And something I've been telling everyone for a while now is you need to stop waiting for this aha moment where people come charging in with handcuffs and warrants and things.
Yeah.
You really need to start thinking about is we need the other side to relax and get to a point where they are relieved when something happens, because all you're doing is creating this negative force against another force. And if you just take that away, and it's just going to cause a chasm, it's going to just get filled back up again by somebody else. We need to get to a point where we are all tired of this, where we are all affected and we are all ready for something better and brighter to move forward to.
Yes.
Because if we just rip that away from them, you're not ripping a bandage off of, you're just going to expose a wound, and that's all it's going to do. You know, so.
No, we have to co-create what comes next, because if there's a power vacuum, something else worse might run to fill it. We can't let that happen, right? So we have to focus our energy on what the co-creation is. What do we want? And that's a beautiful thing. That's a powerful manifestation. Yeah. What is the world that you want to live in? Yeah. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And start feeling it, start being it.
Yeah.
Because that is what comes next. Can I talk about something really quick? Not to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I've been struggling with something, and I've been doing a lot of meditation on this. And I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me, but this might be controversial. I'm just going to throw it out. Why not?
Okay, is it positive though? Because
it's very positive. It's very positive. It's very positive. Okay, so I've been having trouble understanding the 5D, 3D split. Something about it was not sitting well with me. And what I realized is that there is no split. We all have to rise. We all are going to be on the path to rise. And we all have to rise together. We are all connected. We're not leaving anybody behind. No one's getting stuck in the 3D. We are all rising. And so I just want to say that, because I think it's actually creating a lot of fear, I think, right now, which that's what was not sitting well with me, of like, am I going to get trapped in the 3D? No one is getting trapped anywhere. No one's getting stuck. We all are going to have a path to enlightenment. We all are going to have a path to awakening. You have to choose it, right? It's your free will as humans. You've chosen to be on this planet. It's your free will to choose the path, but it's going to be open to everybody. And we all are source. We all are light beings. We all are connected. We all rise as one. So I just want to say that. That's my message.
110 million%. I agree. On Wednesday, I did a live on Wednesday, and somebody was asking me, all these questions about ascension and 3D, 5D, and I was like, you know what? The bottom line is, I don't buy it. It's not my gig. I don't buy it. It's not my gig. And I understand the concept of elevating your consciousness, and I understand the concept of becoming more engaged in that positive momentum forward, and you might be a little bit ahead of the game when it comes to some of these things, and you might, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be like leaving somebody behind on a different level that's in a different world. Like that's not the way this works. And
No.
you
No,
know,
there's not
we
two
all have
Earths. There's
lessons to
one
learn.
Earth. There's one Earth,
Yeah,
you guys.
I want to say something about that. I also found that a little bit problematic because it sounds a little bit too much like kind of some apocalyptic language that certain religions have, which
Yes.
assume that some people are better than other people and
Yeah.
that some people are enlightened and other people aren't.
Yes.
And I find all such hierarchical talk suspicious and problematic,
Yeah, me too.
potentially problematic. And so, yeah, I don't believe that people are being left behind. I don't believe that some people are operating at a low vibration. Well, like what I was just talking about, we do have one group of people who their focus has been hate, and another group of people whose focus has been hope. But those are not set in stone. It's not like people are stuck in a vibration. You may be in a vibration, like you can have a bad day and you're in a low vibration emotion. We all have those days or moments, but nobody is enslaved by that vibration.
Yeah.
So everybody has the chance to shift into other vibrations, regardless of where they started. But let's hear from Femme Fatale.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good.
Good to see you.
To see you too. It's been a minute.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Hello, ladies. It's nice to meet
Hi.
you.
Nice to meet you too.
So it's funny. I was thinking about you a couple of days ago. What was it, like a week ago? I came onto TikTok and there was a guy talking about a girl talking about this game that she plays every day that she wakes up called Best Day Ever, where like it's literally a game and she wakes up with the intention to figure out how she's going to make the day the best day ever. And I've been trying to play this like pretty consistently for the past week. And I have to say, like, if we're speaking vibrationally, like my vibe has kind of gone from like stagnant to like this way to definitely a lovely boop, 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 like kind of climb upwards. It's just a really great idea when it comes to directing consciousness towards gratitude and focusing on positive over negative, not at the expense of the negative necessarily, where you're not just like love and lighting toxically throughout the day, but you're starting to note and record the things about your day that were magical or loving or funny or beautiful. It's been really, really cool. And I feel like I've been able to look back on my day because I do a reflective like review of my day before I go to bed every night. And there's just so much more light coming in. So I was thinking of Ethical Psychic. I was thinking of this whole group and how I wanted to share that with you guys because it's such a fun game and it's free to play and you can play it whenever you want. So yeah, I've been experiencing a lot of joy and unexpected things too in playing that game. Like I had my first session with my therapist in a while. She does IFS, which is parts work, and somatic experiencing and somatic tracing together. And that was another thing I wanted to kind of share with you guys. Are you guys familiar with either internal family systems or parts somatic experiencing?
Internal family systems, yes. I've heard, yes.
I'm familiar with somatic therapy.
That's so the somatic part of it is kind of, calling up an emotion and locating it in the body, right? So say that there's like, I'm feeling tense. You're just a general ball of anxiety. So the therapist will say, okay, well, where do you notice that in your body? With your feet on the floor, let's come in and just notice without trying to change or fix, like what's coming up. And you start to kind of trace how emotional energy presents itself in the body, which that practice in and of itself can sometimes release those emotions and allow energy to move. The parts work or the IFS is kind of like the neurological equivalent of soul retrieval. If you guys are familiar with that practice, it's kind of pulling up fragments of your consciousness and integrating them with the whole or the whole self. And we kind of came to this realization that since, for some of us, it was November, but since January, there's been this collective shock that I don't think I personally was fully letting myself acknowledge. Like, I think I was trying to kind of muscle my way through January and February in particular, and just like, just keep going and like not stop and, you know, ignore what happened. Like it was literally an energetic, you know, BOMB that went off. And if any of you guys are still kind of struggling with feeling like very stop and go, or like your energy's plateaued or just gone down the drain, what my therapist recommended was a practice of like 2 to 3 minutes a day of just letting my nervous system be in the freeze response, like be frozen and just thaw. So no phone, no distraction, just like laying in bed and being still and like doing what my body wants to do. So the first time I did this, I needed to be in the fetal position, like really, really tightly, just for a minute. And then that energy dissipated. I did it today and I was able to like get into a deep hip stretch because I don't think I realized how much of that stress was in my hips. But I can tell you guys that even just 2 to 3 minutes of just laying down and letting your nervous system discharge what we've been going through for the past 52 days is like, it's been really helpful for me.
That's awesome. I started something this week, literally this week, although I do it every single day, but I kind of just told people about it, that every morning I start the morning with 3 thankful things, completely ridiculous things that I'm thankful for that day. And I've been challenging people that follow me to do the same and tell me your thankful things. And like, you know, it's been fun, silly things like, you know, I got coffee in bed, or that my cat came to see me, or that I have cat hair on me. And it's silly things, but they're silly things that make me happy when I think about them. And slowly, more people are starting to do that. And what I think is good about that is it just kind of sets your day off into a positive direction. And the funny thing about you saying the freeze, I never thought of it in those terms, but I do that anyway, because I get to a point where, and I do it in the morning when I first wake up, and I do it at night just before I go to bed, the same thing. Because, well, in the morning I have to shake off the dreams I had the night before. But I do that, and I just try to disassociate myself with all of my nervous system. And then slowly I start to notice where I feel things and where does that energy come back in again. Because that's one thing I'm really good at, is sensing energy. And so I'll do that. I'll look to see where in my body that energy is starting to come back in from. And that was where the arms thing today, with the energy and the vibration stuff going on. And it was super cool, like exciting stuff, super cool. But yeah, so that's, I love that you brought that up, because I literally do that and was talking about it this week. So
Yeah, it made me think of Shavasana and yoga, right? Like Shavasana is literally, it's the going limp. It's literally, you know, going into that corpse pose of letting everything in your body and nervous system just be completely still. And I don't think I ever put together, because I should have gone for yoga teacher training back in the day, but I never did, just why it's so important to end with that pose. Mm-hmm. Like how it allows, because when you're doing your asanas, like depending on the kind of practice that you're in, if you're like me, quadruple Scorpio, I had to go hard all the time in my asana practice. So to let go of that tension and that, you know, compression and that contraction that you're doing throughout the practice, it makes so much sense now. And I know that a lot of us, I mean, I see it in people walking around. There's a lot of people that are just kind of walking around with like a glassy sort of look in their eye. I feel like there's that feeling of like everybody wants to say something, but they don't know what to say. And I think especially just given the past 5 years, like since 2020, we've been through like energetic hit after energetic hit after energetic hit. And it's a birthing process, right? Like I look at each of those energetic hits as like a contraction into the birth of a new timeline of some kind. And labor is intense, labor is painful, and labor is very energetically, it requires a lot of energy. So I really hope that we can give ourselves more permission to just like allow that to be true, and allow the fact that we've been through a lot to also be true, without having to just get back to work. Like we do have to get to work, but like we can't keep doing this to ourselves where we're pushing past where our battery is telling us to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And yeah, I also want to acknowledge the fact that, you know, we've come so far since 2020. We're stronger now than we were. But, you know, at some point, like you said, you need to give your battery a break and give it the grace that it needs to have some boundaries. I agree.
Definitely. It's in tonight in Eclipse too. I just saw somebody said they went to
go.
Yeah,
it's Eclipse. It's a full moon. We have a lot going on. So, Rianne, I'm gonna drop you out
Yeah,
because I
that's
have
fine. Go.
Sean now.
I have to get
I'm
to bed
trying to
anyway.
trying to rotate people around.
Yeah, go
Thank you
for it.
so much for joining me,
Yeah, no
and
problem. I'm glad you
please
were
try
still
to
on
come
when I
to
got home.
come to another one of my lives
All right.
as a guest. Okay.
And Jen, if you want me to make way for somebody else too, I have some. My rice cooker is going to go off in about 5 or 10 minutes here. So.
Well, you just got here too, though. But here's let's say hello to Sean too.
Hi, what's your name again?
I'm Nimue.
Nimue?
Hmm.
Thank you. This is so divine. This timing. I have a Scorpio daughter, who I've learned a lot about life from. She's 4, and so we know a lot about Scorpios also. 'Cause I literally, she's the reason why I am an astrologer right now. I have
Wow.
2 older children, 25 and 21. And they're cancers. They were easy. They were so easy. And so they're older. We have a 4-year-old starseed born 11/11. And the first month of connecting with her, or first month she was born, I couldn't connect with her. It was something that was disconnected. It was like I wasn't connecting emotionally with her. And I'm like, no, this is different. So I'm like, I'm calling on the universe for help. I'm like, but at the time it was like, God, I need help. And then I kept getting these books on astrology randomly. A friend would come by, another one would come by and just drop by a book on human design. And I used to be judgmental of these things. I was raised super Christian back in the day. And I ended up reading these books. And by the second month of her being born, from her birth, I had immersed myself in all of it. And I became a student of human design astrology. And because the first place where you test it, of course, is yourself, and then you test it against everyone else. But I was immediately able to go and see she's a manifester, and she in human design, and she is a Scorpio. And I started studying the stars. I became a student of it because I became a student of myself, which helped me to understand her. But we were connected instantaneously. So for the past 4 years, I have been just delving into everything, becoming literally a student of the stars, letting them show me a reflection of self. And I have learned so much about her and so many other people and patterns. And I see Scorpios differently now. And so I understand them differently, almost I hate to say it, almost like to a master level. And so today I saw something with my daughter that I became aware of, that she, when she feels things like, if I say something to her, like if I'm correcting her, I have to use a certain type of tone. Because even just to go a little bit up, you can tell it's too much for her, which means the discipline is easy because I don't have to really harshly discipline. It's just a correction. But today I had to be just a half step above what I normally do. And she took it, and she almost, like, you can see she was getting a stomachache. Like she started feeling it in her soul. And I've been noticing that increasingly. And so I'm like, okay, Spirit, I actually need help with understanding how to help her move through that of her feeling any negative vibration in her body so heavily that it caused her to have a stomachache and she looked like someone killed her stuffy. Wow. And this is because she is I think a Capricorn stellium, and she has Scorpio in her top 2 and then a Gemini moon. So she's got a lot going on. Plus she's a manifester, if you understand human design, which means they move.
I want to pivot us, Sean.
Oh, sorry.
I want to pivot us away from astrology.
Sorry, my apologies. I think basically what I was trying to say at the end of the day is I'm grateful for Jennifer, you invited me here, because I was trying to understand today why she is holding so much in her body. And you were talking about, as soon as I joined the live, how we hold emotions in our bodies. It's important to just be with that and to let that sit for a minute and then figure out from there, like, it's important for it to just be, and then to recognize where it is in our body, and from there we can move. I was trying to understand that. I literally saw that today, and I said, I need help with my daughter as she now pulls in emotions into her body. What does that look like? Because she's already doing affirmations, I'm safe, et cetera, et cetera. And then Jennifer invites me. I see the message late. I join, and then here you are, another Scorpio. a triple Scorpio. Who is
Quadruple.
sharing
Yeah.
quadruple. Okay. God bless
So yeah, there's a few Scorpios in the chat who are happy that you're talking about Scorpios. But I want to pivot back to the theme
My
of this
apologies.
live.
My apologies.
And the theme of this live is sharing good news and sharing evidence that the light is winning out over the lower vibrations. We're talking about lower vibration emotions. Like we have one side that was focused on hate and fear, and another side that's focused on unity and love and hope. And how we see that movement of light and of emotion. Go ahead, Femme Fatale.
So, okay, just to bring this up, I live in a tiny little like San Diego's huge. It's split into a bunch of different little like I don't know if you call them municipalities or whatever, but I'm in North County, tiny little quiet beachy town. And for the past like 2 months, there's been a certain dealership that's located here where people have been gathering and waving wonderful flags that are red and black or red and green and black and white, and that I have a brain, and just being cool, and like it's just really nice to feel that level of solidarity with the folks that live here, because this is a more middle class to affluent area, and it's nice to see that this population or this community like come up in that way, and I've been seeing them everywhere, and that's one thing I don't think we're seeing on TikTok as much. There are acts of resistance literally every day all over the place that it's not being broadcast here for some reason. I even see it reported on Reddit, which is odd because Reddit censors that stuff like crazy too. But there is collective action happening in major ways. I know there was a building in New York City that got taken over today to get some that gentleman released who has been unfairly and unjustly and unconstitutionally taken away. I'm trying to be very careful with the words that I'm using right now. But I just want you guys to know that like it's very much the revolution will not be televised, and you have to kind of trust that like people aren't just taking stuff lying down. This is not. It's propaganda to assume that Americans specifically are lazy when it comes to standing up for their own rights. That's a myth. I've never actually seen evidence that that's true. I know that there are some folks across the pond who seem to judge us very harshly for that, but I don't think they have any idea like what's going on. Our country's so big and there's so many different ways that this shows up. But right now what I'm seeing in my mind's eye are just flowers like coming up out of the ground and coming up out of a scorched ground in particular. And those flowers are everywhere. So I don't want you guys to think for 1 second that nothing is being done, because it's just simply not objectively true.
Yeah, thanks for reminding us. There are so many people dancing and singing right now. Those are the metaphors I use. There's a lot of dancing and singing going on in lots of cities on lots of nights. And then there's also the Cots of Boy, which have been enormously successful thus far.
Enormously.
Power of people, right? Billions of dollars lost.
I think like close to 100 billion in one case.
Okay.
That's
nice.
a lot of money. That's a lot.
It is. It's a lot of money, more than I can really imagine. But
right. Right. So yeah, and Kendrick did. I thought Kendrick said it would be televised.
He did.
He said it was. Yeah.
He did.
Like that is an example, right? Like I know that was kind of like a bigger, like an obviously broader production, but that energy was a seed that got planted, and that seed was already growing roots when he put that in the ground. My friend and I, when we were on Discord, like watching the whole thing together, we were just screaming the whole time because we knew what we were watching was potentially like history in the making. Like it felt so.
It was an activation.
Yes, it was. People are still talking about it. I still talk about it all the time. Like I show it to people who have not seen it for whatever reason, and I'm like, "Do you understand?" Like, and then like you're gonna have to go on TikTok and listen to like the PhDs of Kendrick Lamar talk about this a little bit more because there's so much going on here. Art is revolutionary, and I've been saying this.
He didn't get that Nobel for nothing, right? That what is it?
Seriously,
Pulitzer Prize, right? He got a Pulitzer Prize.
Pulitzer, yeah, he got a Pulitzer. He's
for
incredible.
His art.
And it's going to be art, honestly, that I think leads the charge in all of this, and that makes me really excited. I can't wait to see the art that's going to continue to be made because of everything going on right now.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
pulled us
Okay,
up from the
Sean.
upside down.
Thank
And
you.
said,
Sean, what do you want to add to that? Or what do you want to
No,
share from your own guidance or your own experience? What is it you want to share?
yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. That art is going to be the thing of the Aquarian age. It's the preacher of these next 2,000 years, which is whatever anyone wants to beautifully create. Let it teach us, let it guide us. We're going to hear the words underneath the words, because I think for too many people have been telling people, especially Americans, how to think, how to feel. It's been dictated in media, social media, etc. And I think with the rise of the divine feminine, that doesn't appear to be happening, but is definitely occurring. Uh, how she speaks is intuitively and inward. And when you look at art, you don't tell us how to feel about it. You let the light within us interpret that. And it will speak truth to us about what is really real and what is not, which is how you have three dreaming women on this live right now who are speaking about things that no one is telling us, that we are not seeing outwardly. This can only be revealed within to the person who learns how to attune themselves within, whether through meditation or whatever. But art is the one thing that causes everyone to do that, because you have to go within to interpret, what am I thinking from? What do I think about this? What am I getting from this? Whether it is the art of the spoken word or art and music or Kendrick or whatever. Like as you said, we have no doubt but to look at that. And on a day, I mean, the Super Bowl, the dichotomy of who was sitting here watching versus that. And that's very, very much where we are right now. I feel we're just in a time where the light within us is being magnified everywhere on the planet. But it's not just the light, it's the dark within. Dark is neither good nor bad, just the other polarity of light. And so when we look at it from that perspective, both things are being magnified. Your deepest, we're ascending while simultaneously being pulled up within us. Some of these darker traumas, triggers on a plate for us to look at. We're being extended and pushed in such a great way, and it's outplaying itself in this extreme dichotomy of left versus right, positive versus negative. And no one is freaking talking about a both and. What does that look like? And I appreciate this call because it even in how we're expressing and we're sharing our thoughts and our feelings, we still have to answer the questions, what does it look like for me to bring from within myself beautifully both the light and the darkness, because they both have to rise. They both have to ascend. They're both moving up with Mother Earth, not an either or conversation, but a both and. And how am I dealing with that within? And how are we doing with outside of us? How are we dealing with this extreme polarity? Can we look at the Super Bowl that day, that moment, and see the extreme duality, dichotomy of both, left and right, extreme, Kendrick here, someone else up there watching. Like, can we look at that in a non-judgmental space? And then from there, what does it look like to move that into your heart? I know. Like, I can't even answer that. I'm speaking right now, but just as a black man, I don't know if we have code for that. The channel, that's hard for me and my ego. But spirit is like, no, we get to sit with this, we get to be presented with this. But I promise you, if we look at it in a non-judgmental way, we'll find the answer. But we'll never find them under judgment, because you can't understand something on the level that it's on. You have to rise above it. So if I'm looking at it and I'm judging it, I'll never be able to understand it. But if I rise above the judgment, which the next level after that is love, then I begin to get intuitively messages on how, why, and exactly what's going on, what's showing up, and how I can love it outside of myself. But then what does it look like for me to love that within me? That's the whole point of the question. We examine it outside of ourselves, so that eventually we can pull it in and say, okay, where's this sitting with me? Where's this extreme light and dark within me? How can I cause that to rise? How can I look at that differently, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where I am. That's kind of what I'm seeing, if I could tie it all into what you all have beautifully already stated.
Yeah, it's not this or that, it's this and that, as one of my colleagues likes to say. I love what you just said there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the message of the Aquarian age. Before that, it was either or, either or, either or. It has to be this or that. It has to be Jesus or Buddha. But in the new Aquarian age, the codes are what have we learned in the previous 10,000 years? And what is the message of all the avatars of those years? It is not a Jesus and astrology, but it is a Jesus and astrology. It is a human design and psychology. It is a mathematics and an atheism. It is a universe and a spirit. It is light and it is dark. It is masculine and it is feminine. That's the rise of the mother, unbalancing things temporarily for a minute until we can get back to this beautiful harmony. But it starts within ourselves first. We think that it starts out there, but it's just out there to show us ourselves and so that we can release judgments, because ultimately that what we see out there is just a reflection of what's in here. When I fix this, we're not fixed, so I don't want to use that language. When I work on this beautifully, when I allow this to grow and evolve, that changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important, and it's also it's really difficult for us to rise above judgment. You know, it's one thing to talk about it and to think about it, but in our daily lives, to go throughout our day and kind of keep catching ourselves when we are sitting in judgment of others, to keep catching ourselves and saying, okay, wait a minute, back up. Let me not sit in that vibration. Let me not sit and like look at my neighbor and be thinking about, oh, they shouldn't be doing it that way. Let me not be so critical of my sister or my coworker. Like, let me step back for a minute and look at the whole picture and say, well, I wouldn't have done it that way, but they have their own reason for why they're doing that. I think that's so valuable, Sean. And someone in the chat was just asking what my guides have been saying. And something that you're saying is reminding me of something that my guides said recently, which has to do with the matriarchy. They said that the thing about the matriarchy, so we're in a period of time where the patriarchy has to be eliminated. We're in the process of, deconstructing the patriarchy and replacing it with a matriarchy. And what a lot of people don't understand about the matriarchy is that it's nothing like a patriarchy. So it's not a top-down triangular type structure. It's not going to be women at the top ruling over other genders. In a matriarchy, there's a focus on balance. And so the first step of the matriarchy, that this is what they were telling me this week, is that we need to elevate women. We need to get rid of patriarchy. We need to free women from shackles that they've been under. That's the first step of the matriarchy. But then after that happens, the matriarchy is then also going to be freeing everybody else and everything else. So we're going to see a freedom of the animals, for example, who are being kept in cages, who are being treated as inferior beings by people who own them. We're going to see a freeing of the shackles around animals. We're going to see a freeing of the shackles around gender constructs and sexuality for all genders, so that people don't feel that they have to behave a certain way because patriarchy taught them that their gender has to behave a certain way. We're going to see a lot of different types of unshackling that happens, unshackling and rebalancing. And that's what matriarchy is bringing for us. This was a message I got from my guides this week. And then I saw this beautiful example of this in I almost said our president because I want to claim her, President Claudia Sheinbaum in Mexico. She put out a video today in Spanish. She stopped doing English videos. She's like, forget it. I'm just doing Spanish. You can read the subtitles, which I appreciate. And she put out this video talking to all the people in the United States who are being deported. And she said, look, we're welcoming you with open arms. We're hugging you. And we're setting up welcome centers. And we're going to give you money when you get here. We're going to find you a job when you get here. We're going to help you with your paperwork. This is the matriarchal way, right? It's not all about battling another opponent. It's about balance. It's about taking care of people. It's about making sure that people know how to behave in a cooperative way. So instead of people showing up on the shore, showing up on the border, feeling victimized and brutalized and and isolated and separated from their family, all of those things that they're feeling, she's saying, okay, we're gonna give you love and nurturing and acceptance, and we're gonna provide for some of your needs so you're not struggling, right? That's such a beautiful example of how matriarchies work. And so, I just wanted to share that because you mentioned matriarchy, and someone in the chat asked what my guide said this week.
It's interesting you bring her up. At the end of last year, I do like a channeling with my guides. It's the only predictive stuff that I do, and I reserve it for my subscription service because people have gone. My guides don't want me to talk about that. Anyway, one of the predictions that came through was Central America becoming like a very strong player on the world stage, like in a massive, massive way, economically, culturally, politically. And every time I hear about her, I'm like, there, like it's starting with her. And I am ignorant to a lot of the other, socio-political stuff that's going on around there. They don't really tell us much about those countries in our news, so I don't know what else is going on, but I think that there's, like, when I tap into the energy of her and that whole and the country, like my heart just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it feels like relief. It feels like there's been a flower that's been trying to pop out of its bud for so long, and now the petals are starting to unfold, and like it's just taking in the sun and allowing pollinators to come and make more of those flowers. So this is again very good news in a time that feels very, very uncertain and scary. We just have to give as much faith to that as we do to the stuff that we're afraid of. You know what I mean?
Good. That's so good. Did you guys see the protest this weekend in France? The women protesting?
I did.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing. All the bare-chested women.
They're rising everywhere.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat said it's not maiden mother crone, it's maiden mother matriarch.
Ooh.
And that is so true. And I want to. I've been on this live for quite a while, so I think it's time to say goodnight. But I want to thank everyone who came: Sean, Femme Fatale, Rian, katethesarge, and Nina. Thank you all for coming, and I'm going to be doing more lives now that the energy has gotten so nice. So I look forward to seeing you all again. Everybody, please follow SeanAdams and Femme Fatale and katethesarge and ninawitchyhealer and Rianne Dupree. And I'll
Jen,
see you
thank
all.
you so much. This is another best day ever moment for me. You guys have one. It was really nice meeting you, Sean.
You too. Nice meeting you too. I'm a follower. I'm a fan.
Oh,
Big
I'll
fan.
follow you too. Bye.
Yeah, you're both amazing. Both amazing. Yeah.
Love you all.
Good night, guys.
Cheers.
Good night.
Good night.